Welcome to this special coffee with yours truly, Dragon Edition. It's going to be a very special, hardcore, real, raw geopolitics. We're going to discuss geopolitics, my philosophies, my theories as an independent geopolitical analyst and theorist. It's going to be a special bilingual edition from yours truly, the lair of the dragon right in this underground room off Sun Temple, where it has always served as a gymnasium during the past years, and especially during COVID, where I've lost more than 77 pounds. I've created my own workout training program system and have, of course, done lots of push-ups, and now on the journey to box for the coming weeks, more than 7 weeks, as I'm challenging Tyson Fury for my one and only boxing match. Got the gloves credited, donated, gifted, whoop-wow, from my anonymous friend sister. It's gonna be like this unedited. Things fall sometimes they fall. We gotta pick ourselves up. I've fallen many times. I've been depressed and suicidal. I've conquered depression. I've conquered depression. That's why I encourage all to work out, train, exercise. Working out, training, and exercising has been, is, and will continue to be my medicine and therapy of choice. And I encourage all to work out, to train, and to exercise. Working out, training, and exercising has been, is, and will continue to be my medicine and therapy of choice. We're going to discuss politics today, geopolitics to be specific, and to be even more specific, we're going to discuss. I'm auctioning these chains for the DGA Dancing Goddess Army. There we go. Sometimes things fall, I guess. Things fall, things are falling as I'm speaking, but we get back up stronger and we heal and we learn, and I'm not perfect, far from it. I'm financially struggling. I'm in debt, $10,000, but I'm open for business 24/7, auctioning 93% of all the items which I own, such as this red. It's not really a jacket, it's more like a spring, autumn, even late summer, kind of like a jacket. You can zip it. Zipper works. Auctioning boots, auctioning shoes, auctioning to raise money for the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom, which is my dream, and manifesting as the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom. Yours truly, androgynous pansexual founder thereof of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom, which I am laying the foundations of with 718 trillions of kisses. You heard that correct. I'm laying the foundations right here from Montreal, North America, from my underground dragon's lair with 718 trillions of kisses. Yep, you heard that correct, dog. There's a lot of kisses. 718 trillions of kisses. A trillion is 1,000 billion. A billion is 1,000 million. So lots of kisses got for all my allies and armies in order to give. Pledge your legions. I can make all my legions can make all of you multi-millionaires, and those who pledge allegiance are my de facto family. Right from this underground lair, the dragon's lair, we're going to discuss China. China, real, raw, unedited discussions about the geopolitical realities that are facing, because it has been in the news, even furthermore escalations of tensions with China recently, more tensions and more geopolitical crises, if you will, and more elements added to the story in the past years, to the ongoing story of the North American Chinese relations, China-US relations, China-Canadian relations, what I call Sino-North American relations. As Sino, when I'm referring to Sino, is China's civilizational complex, and of course China is a civilization which is more than 5,000 years old, and that is a fact. And today China has risen over the past decade since 1984 to become a powerhouse of economics, finance, and of course having built mega cities and mega ports and huge metropolises and urbanized more than any other civilization in the world. And those are just a little bit of a facts. Now, first let it be understood that I do not have any business interests in China. I've studied a little bit of China, but so much things I don't know, and I am a geopolitical analyst and theorist and philosopher, and some of the discussions I will be straightforward and direct. I'm a pro-labor universal revolutionary centrist, and as a pro-labor universal revolutionary centrist, sometimes I'm straightforward and direct, sometimes sophisticated, complex, cosmopolitan language, verbose language, which perhaps sometimes in certain cases is unnecessary, and more action is required in focusing on solutions rather than personal, and focusing on ideas and proposals such as I am proposing, and I firmly believe in my trinity of theories to be implemented for the collective North American civilization, for Quebec, for Canada, for La Belle Province, of which I am a Quebecer, philosopher, artist, athlete, activist, and geopolitical analyst and theorist, and universal spiritual teaching student who has questions. I don't know all the answers, so many things I don't know, and so many things I am mediocre at. I admit that some things I am mediocre. Some things I am so-so, some things I am average, while being so-so, average, and mediocre at some things I admit I am super and excellent at some other things such as geopolitical analyst and theories, analyzing the geopolitical factors and complexities of nation states and interactions between regions and different dimensions of their interactions with each other, whether between nation states, whether between civilizations, whether between factors of past antecedents and current present development and treaties, and what XYZ factors of the geopolitical analysis. I can make a complex, diverse, and cosmopolitan and academic geopolitical analysis, of which this is the first one, and we're gonna do bilingual session. We're gonna be a bilingual session, and again, I want to just say that I have no business, social, political interest with China. I am hoping, although perhaps it's too late, to reestablish cordial, mutually beneficial relations with China, but nonetheless, I am not to be ignorant of certain facts, and that we perhaps have crossed a certain line, and that it's going to be harder to reestablish the mutually beneficial, cordial, friendly relations at this point in time where we are now between Sino-Canadian, Sino-United States, and Sino-North American, because of course as a philosopher of North America who was born twice in past lives in the USA, that way 156 years ago served in the US Army, 718 miles south of Hawk Island, served in the US Army 156 years ago. I'm a rainbow dragon, rainbow philosopher, not perfect, far from it, got some issues, got some vices. I rock and roll it for the civilizational complex of North America, and my proponents, my proposals, and my initiatives are for the rebirth, regeneration, defense, only and solely defense, coast to coast. That way is the east. You got the Atlantic, that way is the west, we got the Pacific. So to the east, to the west, we got the Pacific, and we got the Atlantic, and we got this North America right here. And I am on this island metropolis city for the defense of the North American civilizational collective, that my theories and my initiatives and all I do is for myself as well, because I'm not totally selfless, nor do I propose to be self-righteous. I haven't watched porn in a while. I've been masturbating, but I didn't watch porn in a while. And don't need to spy on me as CSIS, RCMP, RCMP, and CIA, FSB, FBI, and Stasi. Well, Stasi are gone after 1989 or the East Germany, notorious for 42 years, or KGB, former KGB, now FSB, KGB, now FSB, KGB, MI6, Mossad, because disclaimer, I put a lot on the public sphere, and I do put disclaimers and warnings on all my videos. You can read them there, and warning that sometimes it's a rapping, like a rapper. Gangster rapper, stop scaring the kids. Too late. I've been scaring the kids since the 90s. Well, gangster rappers yelling got nothing on ICBM rockets, baby. But that's another story for another day. Today we're going to focus on the complexities of where we are today in this with the geopolitical sphere. Beautiful clouds, wow. A nice beautiful white with a blue, such a blue. Just going to take a minute to admire it's not sunset yet. Sunset is in 93 minutes, but as it's about to be sunset here in Arc-En-Ciel, Montreal, in the East Coast in North America, is going to be sunrise somewhere, or sunrise as a matter of fact, in Asia, right? In China, Japan, and Korea is going to be their sunrise, right? Grateful, thankful for this coffee. Grateful, thankful that my rent's paid. Grateful, thankful that my electricity bill is paid. And yours truly, peekaboo. So beautiful. Peekaboo, so beautiful. Peekaboo, so beautiful. Just a beautiful sky. Just did a meditation, beautiful sky that how we gotta implement my theories and proposals for the mutual defense of Quebec, La Belle Province and the Canadian Confederation coast to coast in order to protect from ICBM rockets, which stand for intercontinental ballistic missiles, on my projects to be integrated with satellites, telecommunications, and citizen integration across all spheres of civilization, and for public defense and public security. My CIT theory, citizen integration theory, stands for the 21st century, which I'm advocating and have been advocating during COVID and will continue to do so. Now, brothers and sisters, fellow Quebecers, North Americans, which I'm going to do a French version in a bit, but I want to just do a little bit of an English analysis. And we're going to be listening while I'm going to send some more emails open for business, because I'm also an artist, activist, an athlete, and philosopher, and 1/7 comedian. I don't mind making people laugh, and we need to use some humor, some comedy to laugh a little bit. And sometimes I laugh at my tiny little androgynous scar. I got a scar, what I call a clitoris, penis, clitoris, and vice versa. Being androgynous, I got a little tiny androgynous, it's a little scar, my little rainbow scar, I call it. It's a penis clitoris. There you go. Secret Services, RCMP, CIA, Mossad, you know something more about me. No need to spy on me. Well, so many things we don't know. Freedom is a double-edged sword, and freedom is something which got to be defended, liberty ensured. And of course, with other things of the civilization, which I express, and I presented my thesis back in 2023. My thesis being that, of course, we have the privilege of civilization, and civilization, my brothers and sisters, it is a privilege. It is the privilege of civilization, right? We have this common privilege of civilization, which sometimes has its tensions, and of course it's pretty intense sometimes, and we do focus with solutions, and sometimes we have decay and some depressions, whether economic, financial, philosophical, which of course myself have been, and I've conquered depression. I cannot stress enough the importance of physical exercise regular. If I would have been Prime Minister, Premier, it wouldn't be a session where I would not encourage Canadians to be physically fit, to do some exercise, to do some stretching. And if you're a millionaire, billionaire, and have been them, and we'll call for the mass financing across the North American civilizational complex, across Canada, to be for the fitness to be mass financed. We need to encourage and incentivize. So if you see the children doing a push-up, a pirouette, or exercise, applaud the children and encourage them to do another one. And some sports and some exercising for the body. My philosophy is that this body is a temple for pleasure and purpose. How do we invest in the body? By working out, by training, and by exercising. That's how we invest in the body, and of course with hygiene. I've been complaining about not being able to afford a massage therapy session, and the other day, of course, I've also been grateful that I can take a bath, right? I take a bath every week or sometimes twice a week, so I substitute. But I'm asking the multi-millionaires, billionaires to finance the farmers of North America on massage therapy, and the athletes in the National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association. It will be the athletes and the owners of the aforementioned to finance, give more to women's sports leagues, and finance the farmers and the truckers a massage therapy session because they could use it more than I can. And this athlete, artist, and activist being open for business, and who marched more than the leaders of NATO, than the generals of NATO combined during COVID. You heard that right. I marched more than the generals of NATO. Marched in steel-toe boots more than the generals of NATO combined during COVID. That's my new CV, new curriculum vitae, which has been and is available for all to see during COVID. As I have died during COVID, I say because I had COVID back about 3 years and something ago, in February 2020. At the beginning of February 2020, I was very sick. I was sickle and disease. It was like death, pestilence, and disease. And in many ways, I did die. I'm being reborn as yours truly, Adrian Hanna Dragon, with some joy, which not perfect, far from it. Androgynous, pansexual, although do know certain things, and I am great, super, and excellent at some things, while I admit that I'm mediocre, so on average at some other things. But I'm great at poetry, I'm great at rock and roll, and I'm super and excellent at geopolitics. Speaking of geopolitics, back in October 2019, have created, made, and designed, produced the General War Integrated Total Body Training System, aka the Dragon Army workout, of which you can see hundreds of videos of me working out, training, and exercising, calling for the mass financing of people to work out, train, exercise via public-private partnership as well. And of course, when I've conducted my exercising programs on workout, train, exercise, workout, train, exercise, workout, train, exercise, since I've been on a fitness journey, started about more than 4 years ago. And of course, created my own workout training program system, which requires no equipment and which is efficient, simple, and effective. Effective, simple, and efficient. My workout training program is simple, effective, and efficient. Requires no equipment whatsoever. It's push-ups, hawk squats, and you can work out, train, exercise, and you can work out, train, exercise, and you can do it over and over again, and it's still effective, up to hundreds and hundreds of workouts of my own creative workout training program system. I believe until possibly that you could get up to maybe 1,000, depending on your body, and 500, and I've been doing more than 300, and I still feel it even after I did 300 sessions. It's still effective. What it does, it increases general overall fitness. That's my workout training program. It's designed, created, and made to be specific, simple, and efficient. And to do one thing, to increase general overall fitness, which it does. And you can see hundreds of my workout training program videos, of which the aforementioned is titled the General War Integrated Total Body Training System, aka the Dragon Army workout, aka the 300 workout, because it's 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 hawks, and it requires no equipment. It is simple, effective, and efficient, and of course it is easy to do from any place, anywhere, and of course anytime you can do it. I'm gonna start doing it right now after seeing this. Check my hundreds of workout videos, of which I've been doing especially, and of course which will continue to do so in the coming days, weeks, and months ahead, but now special with of course with my Tango Rambo of the ongoing challenge to Tyson Fury. Let me see, there's a little bit of sun. Yeah, seems to be a little bit of was a dark days for a few days. It rained, and it was flooding. Now there seems to be a little bit of a sun. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna pause the video. I'm gonna go get some sun, but I'm just gonna finish rock and roll at this one. So we're gonna just discuss some more, but I'll see if the clouds, if the sun is gonna stay, I will go get some sun. It's always good to get some sun. It's always good to get some sun, as a matter of fact. So we're gonna continue, maybe go in the sun, try to get it in the sun. If it's gonna stay, will the sun stay or will it not? maybe not, maybe not. So we're gonna go maybe in the sun, continue finishing the coffee in the sun. Why not, I guess. But if it starts raining, I'm going to have to run in my underground room later again. Because I do want to get some sun. Seems that it's not. That's my Pope. Sun, who now rises and now sets somewhere in the world, is my Pope. Said Pope, well, my Pope is the sun. Sun now rises and now sets. Well, it seems that like a teasing on and off. Clouds passing by, sun shining. It's going up again, and I'm gonna get a teaser, but I guess I'm gonna have to make a decision. And the decision is we're gonna go for it. I might just get a peek. My king, the Pope, the sun. But paradoxically, I feel like there's a little bit of feels like there's raindrops. Yeah, there's dark clouds here. It's gonna move in the sun. We might see some rainbow. I found a spot. So I'm in a circle, surrounded with the goddess, circle of the goddess, circle of the goddess, goddess circle. Surrounded by trees. Oh yeah, I got a spot right here. See it? Oh yeah. That's gonna be it. And get a little bit of sun. We're gonna tan. Oh, it's raining here. What a paradox. Should be the rainbow. We should be seeing the rainbow somewhere. If it's raining. Yeah, it is raining here paradoxically. So we have a little bit of a rain, which is falling now, but it's sunny. And dark black clouds around above me, kind of grayish, dark gray, and it's raining a little bit, but the sun's shining, so it's kind of surreal, almost mystic. And of course, I am a universal spiritual teaching student, but I'm not perfect, far from it, and do not play self-righteous, and got more questions. I do say the word goddess, G-O-D-D-S-S, in my spirituality, and I'm gonna have to be in close, because if it starts pouring, it's the only laptop I do have, and all the work that I do to use it, I don't want to lose it, I'm financially in a crisis, but got trillions of kisses. A trillion is 1,000 billion, a billion is 1,000 million, so I got all those trillions of kisses and push-ups and hugs, and of course hawks and squats and other things to go with that, some rock and roll and some art. But of course, kisses first and hugs after to all my willingly loving allies and armies and things like that. I'm not sure the cloud is going which way it's going, but it seems like it's starting to rain even furthermore. It's more rain, so I'm gonna have to wrap it up because it is starting to rain. I'm gonna have to go towards the sun, so we're gonna have to do another. Yeah, there's clouds. It's gonna start to rain actually, but we got a little bit of a peekaboo. I guess I see you, and it goes towards the sun. But it is raining. It started to rain, so we're gonna go wrap right in it. We're gonna go wrap and rock and roll it back to the dragon's lair. We just came to say hello a little bit and do a little bit of an because now the sun is being clouded by the clouds, so we're gonna rock and roll it. Just gonna say a little bit. Yeah, black, dark, gray clouds are going, but the sun is now rising. So that was a quick in and out. It is beautiful. It is nice though. I may get some rainbow somewhere afterwards. We'll see. I'll keep it. Well, I got a little bit. Yeah. See you in a bit. Do some push-ups. Well, that was a little bit of an adventure. It started raining, pouring, but got a little bit of sun. 7:07 p.m. in the EST. Yours truly, independent artist, athlete, and activist, geopolitical analyst and theorist Adrian Hanna, dragon androgynous, pansexual, founder of the dancing goddess in the dragon kingdom, which I'm laying the foundations with 718 trillions of kisses. You heard that right, laying the foundations right here. In Montreal, Hog Island, Montreal, laying the foundations of the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom. While I'm gonna speak, I'm gonna stretch because I'm working out, training and exercising, and I encourage all to work out, to train, and to exercise regularly. I'm gonna do a little bit of stretching just while I, of course, gonna go a little bit of the discussion into geopolitics, and of course geopolitics is in relation specifically to China. And my advice, my direction, my memo to powers that be, because now it's more in the news and has been in the news during COVID and recently, to the powers that be, especially with the question of the relations between China, diplomatic relations and other ongoing relations of the sort of the so-called police stations, so-called XYZ factors, which are on the table, that Prime Minister Trudeau and Joe Biden and elements of the governments of the Western world, NATO, prime ministers, presidents, and generals of NATO and head of security agencies across North America and across NATO, that you get well acquainted with the governance of China, the governments of China, such as, if we are to fully more understand 21st century China of today, not of yesterday, not of the 1900s, not of the 1920s, not of the 1940s, not of the Mao era, the 1970s, the 80s, the 90s, but now, China as it is today. And of course, as they will, according to their philosophy and the ideology as laid out by the leader, Xi Jinping, in his thoughts, in his writings, in his communiques for China, which are embodied in what's called the Governance of China, where there are 4 volumes. 4 volumes called the Governance of China. These 4 volumes are differently triangulated and differently transposed in different subjects, but I suggest that you get acquainted with also, after a bit of my introduction, my discussion, my philosophies, my theories, as if you will, to understand what I'm calling for, which is fundamentally my call for a 21st century public-private partnership from all citizens, organizations, corporations, mega corporations, small, medium-sized business and governments, and across the collective North American civilization, from North America and beyond, NORAD, NATO. That's what I've been advocating and am advocating in this video. The implementation of my trinity of theories. So if you are to understand that, you can listen to what they are in the past videos, in present videos, and videos in the coming days, weeks, and months ahead. My theories, my philosophies, which are fundamentally a public and a private partnership, and the call to create 2 complementary, covenant, and cooperative institutions for defense only, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. To the east is the Atlantic, to the west is the Pacific, ocean to ocean, coast to coast, for the defense, security, and service and emergency response. The Dragon Army, be the North American integrated, citizen integrated, defense only, defense, security and service, security services and security force, an emergency response force, such as now with the flooding. I've been doing meditation on how we can put on those bags and take those to the service. So putting out the bags, the firefighters putting out those bags and going for the relief efforts in the ongoing flood relief efforts, which are ongoing now in Quebec here. La Belle Province, and myself as a Quebecer, calling for the implementation of my Trinity theory. So to have an understanding, I have to listen to my lectures, to my discourses, to my proponents of theories and theorizing, and fundamentally the call for a public-private partnership, which overall it manifests as the my dream manifesting as the dancing goddess. Yes, I said goddess, G-O-D-D-S-S, who dances now with the sun to make, create, and produce all the fruits, all the vegetables, all the legumes, all the grains, all the flowers that our brothers and sisters, farmers, harvest for us to make, build, and maintain civilization. I'm grateful, thankful that my rent is fully paid my rent, fully paid my electricity bill, and I'm grateful, thankful that I got this coffee and got food for after this session, which later on we're gonna listen, and I'm gonna send some emails for business because I'm open for business and open and looking for cooperation, participation, partnership, and collaboration from all willingly loving first and foremost, willingly loving from all willingly loving first and foremost. From all willingly loving first and foremost, from all willingly loving first and foremost, as love is also action. Love is also action. It's got to be propelled by a loving action, which is parallel to the philosophies and the theories and the blah blah blah. It's got to be counterbalanced by some action. Some things, my brothers and sisters, of course, we gotta take action with, such as action has been required in my own healing and transformation. I salute the city workers, I salute the city workers, I salute the city workers who picked up the compost, the city workers this week who picked up the garbage, and the city workers in the vans, in the big machines who picked up the recycling. So three things, 3 times a week for the recycling, for the garbage, and for the compost. So thank you. Finance them a massage therapy session, because they need it more than yours truly, Rainbow Dragon, right here. So rock and roll it. So the governance of China is my memo among memos, other memos to the powers that be, such as if you are to discuss China, we better familiarize ourselves with the governance of China. And my statement, one of my statements on China, first and foremost, again, I have no business interests in China or anywhere else. No business, no social, no political. I am paradoxically a world peace advocate, but I'm also acquainted with human nature, my own nature. I admit I have aggression in me, but my brothers and sisters, I channel and sublimate the aggression. I'm only defense, and duel. If anybody wants to battle me, we can put the gloves and dance freestyle battle, do battle rap. I'm gonna best name in a minute of rapping. I'm gonna name the farmers. Thank you, farmers, butchers, bakers, at least once in the freestyle rap battle session. And of course, I'm not perfect, far from it, but nonetheless, I fight my own battles, and I am for defense only. And I admit I have aggression with me. My 2 key words of my philosophies, has been, is, and will be this. Super important to channel and sublimate. Channel and sublimate. Sublimate and channel. Whether aggression, whether sexual feelings and impulses, so that we harm none. Whether we can fulfill, satisfy with consent, mutual understanding, and hygiene. Consent, mutual understanding, and hygiene. With consent, mutual understanding, and hygiene. Right? I admit it. Again, no need to spy on me, spicers. You can't blackmail the dragon with nothing, man. You can't blackmail the dragon with nothing. You can't blackmail the dragon with nothing. I like BDSM switch. I am pansexual, androgynous. I consider myself to be both male and female, part of the LGBTQ community. I like BDSM switch. BDSM, look it up. Bondage, domination, sadomasochism. Right? I like it. With consent and understanding, I like to be, I like to be called names, and I like to be called names and degraded a little bit. I like to be called names and degraded a little bit. I like to be called names and degraded a bit. You got me. But my sexuality aside, part of my philosophies is freedom is a double-edged sword. I admit by myself, my hands are too tiny, feet are too tiny, long, tiny scar, tiny trinity, 4th dimension, maybe just a big mouth. I can do some push-ups, I can cook, I can massage, I can kiss, I can rock and roll, I can rap, I can philosophize. In a parallel life, I'm a super scientist hybrid of Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and Mark Zuckerberg. In this life, I'm a philosopher. Many past lives, many incarnations. I'm a universal spiritual teaching student as well, because I'm learning every day. My Pope is the son whom I just went to greet. And I'm far from perfect. Far from perfect. Sometimes it's hard to admit certain things, right? I joke, I say that, some gangster rappers don't like to admit, but I know some of them for a fact. Not because I'm in cahoots or in league with secret services across North America or police forces across North America, but I know for a fact that some gangster rappers like to be put on a leash and pretend they're dogs. Woof woof woof. Now, if I'm lying, who's telling the truth? I'm not gonna name those gangster rappers, but there's a few, maybe 3, maybe 7, maybe 11 out of 333, whatever, 156, 418 since the 90s, 1984. That's a percentage already of gangster rappers who like to be put on a leash and they pretending they be dogs and woof woof woof. Stop scaring the kids, man. Stop, you're scaring the children with that. Stop scaring the children, man. Y'all scaring the children with the gangster rap. Good gangster rap aside. The governance of China, my Mr. Brother Mendocino, Public Security Minister. I suggest you get acquainted ASAP with the governance of China and meditate exactly on what it says and how the present government of China operates. Again, I have no business interest. I have no debts to China, the People's Republic of China. I have no debts to any entity, realm outside. I like to say my rent's paid, it's true. I paid my rent to my anonymous sister friend whom I'm asked twice already to marry me in an open BDSM switch cuckold marriage. One day out of 7 I like to fantasize about being a cuckold. There you go. You know so much about me now. I'm gonna put this online. You can try to blackmail me. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. I practice twerking as a hobby. Another thing you know about me. No. Spirituality, my Pope is the sun. I say goddess. I like to be loved. I like to love, and I like to see our children grow up in a North American civilizational collective in freedom and hygiene, and joy, and prosperity, and liberty and freedom and joy and loving. That's what my will is, and I have no debts. As I responded to a fellow citizen a few days ago or weeks already past, time, how it is with time. Says this and that. And where are you from? I said, what do you mean? I said, I'm from Montreal, North American. Your background? I'm not sure. Many past lives, many incarnations. Quebecer. I was a Quebecer in the past life. I'm a Quebecer now, Canadian and North American. And whatever you say, whatever says this, tried a few guesses. I'm like, no. And I just answered, I do not consider myself a member of any diaspora. I said, I do not consider myself a member of any diaspora. I do not consider myself a member of any diaspora. This has been my home, Montreal, Hakkan, for many, many years. And Canadian, I'm a North American because I do identify as a North American because I'm a philosopher of North America. My theories and beliefs is that North Americans, we constitute sort of a collective civilization, a civilizational complex, which has merged and fused from many different peoples who came and nations who came. And after World War II, we have sort of this North American identity which has been forming. Canada, US, Mexico, and paradoxically the islands, which I've discussed and will have done lectures on it, and will continue lectures on demand. I'm open for lectures on demand by yours truly, Dragon, and of course I'm open for lectures on demand and on requests on different themes and different subjects. But nonetheless, this is a major important subject now, and it's in the news, and I will discuss it from my perspective, a little bit of a sophisticated and sometimes straightforward and direct. Sometimes straightforward and direct and sophisticated. China, to understand modern China, we have to, and the leadership, the Chinese Communist Party and Xi Jinping, which is the leader, has been now for the third time, 6 years, what is it? Something like that. Now we have to understand and be acquainted with the governance of China, which is the compendium of thoughts and philosophies put forward by the leader of China, just like myself as a philosopher, artist, athlete, and universal spiritual teaching student, and geopolitical analyst and theorist, just as I have my theories called the CIT Citizen Integration Theory, DRT Debt Fusion Theory, and Democratic Fusion Theory via LOV to be implemented. That Trinity of theories for the North American civilizational complex for the creation of the two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions, be it the North American Citizen Integrated Defense only, solely for defense, security, and service and security services with consent, mutual understanding and hygiene, whatever they may be, with consent, mutual understanding and hygiene, whatever they may be, with consent, mutual understanding and hygiene, whatever they may be, massaging, washing, working out, training and exercising, washing feet, cooking, cleaning, reading to children, taking the children for sports, doing push-ups, doing XYZ, all services of civilization with consent, hygiene, and mutual understanding, and emergency response such as the floodings and tornadoes and hurricanes across North America, which might affect citizens of North America. But not to operate for any intervention outside the realm of North America, of the North American civilizational complex. So to be for defense, service, and security, non-interventionist approach. And the creation of the UE by my DRT, Debt Fusion Theory, for the North American collective, and whoever wills, if NORAD, North America, NATO, and beyond, whoever wills to join and support my propositions and my theories to be implemented via the fourth dimension, love. And as a matter of fact, my main message is to whoever made it this far to hug with consent like you never hugged before today. Period of hockey is 20 minutes, a quarter of football, NFL, gridiron, CFL, Canadian Football League, which I love. Dancing is my favorite sport. Give yourselves a hug like you never hugged before is the main message. 20 minutes with consent, obviously with consent. So, good hug. Oh, yeah. That was a good hug. Give yourselves a good hug with consent. Give yourselves a good hug with consent. Give yourselves a good hug with consent. That is the main message, one of the main messages. The other one is in parallel workout, train, exercise regularly. I suggest, strongly encourage, and call for the mass financing thereof. So the governance of China. I've been listening to audiobooks in the past days, weeks, and months now, because there's 4 volumes, so there's hours and hours. I suggest you listen to a few. At least the first introduction, there's 4 volumes. There's 4 volumes. Get acquainted a little bit with the first volume. Audiobooks, you can listen to it. Audiobooks, it's pretty well read by on YouTube. You can find it. Just write Governance of China, and I'm going to be listening to it while I'll send these emails in a bit. Just want to continue with a little bit of my philosophies. So we have to understand that China is a civilization also, right? And from a Western perspective, have done business, interacted, and created with a civilization that has risen in the past since 1984. Risen in all areas, technological, military, political, and risen and risen and risen. My brothers, they build mega cities. My brothers of North America, whether we like it or not, or how we interact, their system has worked for them, right? Whether how much we know, how much we criticize human rights, all that sphere, XYZ, the system that China has now, with whether I dislike, like I said, let it be understood that I have no business interests, I have no debts, I have nothing really to business or otherwise interests, political, social, with China. I want it to be peace, but that's another story at this moment. Peace sometimes has to be with several factors, right? My propositions and proposals and of course theories are for defense only, for defense of the North American civilizational collective, of the CIT Citizen Integration Theory, and the DRT by the DRT Debt Fusion Theory, and the Democratic Fusion Theory by the by love, via love, that trinity of theories to be implemented and created to complementary 21st century institutions, which are fundamentally public-private partnership based, to be integrated across all levels of civilizational activity of society of North America for the rebirth, regeneration, rejuvenation, insurance of liberty, more sharing of prosperity, and rebuilding the North American civilizational complex. That is what I stand for. From Quebec, La Belle Province, from Montreal, I don't cannot have open doors because it's too small. Underground room of Sun Temple right here, which I served as a gymnasium as well, it's too small. If somebody helps me with that house there on between 57 the Belvedere and 53 the Belvedere, then maybe with that we can have a more tango there, and I can have open houses to hug, workout, train, dance, exercise, do XYZ activity with that. As I'm looking for support, love, collaboration, cooperation for in all activities that yours truly does. As it is 7:27 p.m. here in the EST in North America, on the east coast of North America, I would send several memos to the powers that be of North America, whether it's Security Services, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, my brother Trudeau, whom I would love to dance with on a Pride Parade. Biden as well, my Scorpio bro, Biden, Scorpio, he's a Scorpio. Astrologically, I'm speaking just like Bill Gates. My other brother of the stars. I'm calling for both to dance with me on Pride Parade, and not only on Pride Parade, of course, but on other issues as well. I am a pro-labor, universal revolutionary centrist. Universal revolutionary centrist. A pro-labor, universal revolutionary centrist. Meaning that my universal revolutionary centrism is hand in hand with my trinity of theories, the CIT citizen integration theory, the DRT debt fusion theory, and the democratic fusion theory, the DFT, to be implemented by the fourth dimension, and that fourth dimension is love, LOV, and love is also action. We consent, start loving, start kissing, start hugging. That's the main message. Because of course, we are perhaps on the verge of World War III could begin, has already begun, some say. As I've theorized and analyzed, of course, geopolitically back in 2019 in October, when I've sounded the alarm. Back in October 2019, I've already sounded the alarm that we are again humanity, we as in humanity again on a path towards an international conflagration. And so made, created, and produced and designed my General War Integrated Total Body Training System, aka the Dragon Army Workout, Dragon 300 Workout, to go hand in hand with such an event, such a scenario. I performed more than 350 of that same session. You heard that correct and you read it correct. I have proof of work. Hundreds of workout training program videos, of which I've done run from this underground room of Sun Temple, right from this underground room of Sun Temple, right from this underground room of Sun Temple and Dragon's Lair, where I have performed, of course, more than 350 sessions of the aforementioned workout training program system, which requires no equipment, and which is simple, effective. I gotta stretch a bit. Efficient, simple, and effective. Efficient, simple, and effective, requires no equipment, and I'm encouraging all to try it out, to do it. Rules are simple, effective, and efficient as well. And it increases general overall fitness. I began the second phase, super growth, and I've done more than 350 sessions so far, and I'm now doing special boxing. So back to China. The geopolitical reality is that many of us do not fully understand China. We do not fully understand China. Fully understand China as a civilization, as a complex of civilization, which is distinct from ours, from our North American collective civilization, in many certain ways. Take, for example, the idea or the ethos of more individualism, right? Rather culturally, are more prone to the group, the collective, right? I'm not gonna do appellations if that's bad or that's evil or that's. What I will say is that the current system in China, the politics, with Xi Jinping as the leader of the Chinese Communist Party, my brothers and sisters, citizens of North America and Western world, the West Side, it has worked for them. Their system they now have has worked for them. Just like my workout training program system has worked miracles for me, for my mental health, for my wellness, because I take the philosophy that the body is a temple for pleasure and purpose. I'm still a bit upset, cannot afford a massage therapy session. I wish I could, whatever, I can take a bath. Substitute it for a bath. I'm grateful, thankful I got the boiler, I got the hot water. NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB, please give some millions, owners and players to women's sports leagues and finance the farmers, millionaires and billionaires, some farmers and the nurses, the nurses, some massage therapy sessions. They need it more than me. Call it hard. So, China, I'm gonna say again, I have no business interest, I have no debts, I have no business, political, social interest with China. I have no business, political, social, whatever interests of outside of North America. Although paradoxically, I am a world peace advocate because I am a world citizen, but the reality, and to be direct and straightforward, I have no interest, no business deals, no business, political, social, economic, financial, artistic, commercial outside of my underground room office in Temple, Montreal, the island of Montreal, surrounded by a big river, the island of Montreal, surrounded by a big river, the island of Montreal, surrounded by a big river, Quebec, La Belle Province, of which I am a Quebec rock and roller, and we'll do a little bit of a Quebec as well in a few minutes, outside of Quebec, Canada, of North America. I was born in past lives twice in the USA, 156 years ago, 718 miles south from here, that way. I served in the US Army. Just read George S. Patton's poem, Through a Glass Darkly, where George Patton believes in reincarnations and incarnations, of which I was born right here, Quebec, Canada, and Mexico quite a few times in North America, and all the three main countries, because I do include, of course, the Cuba as a paradox of North America. Cuba is a sort of a paradox. Cuba's sort of a paradox, right? Because they have been able to maintain, paradoxically, their Marxist-Leninist system. And paradoxically, China and Xi Jinping and his governance of China, which I suggest all get acquainted with, quotes several times that we are Marxist-Leninists, we are communists, we are Marxist-Leninists, we are Marxist-Leninists. Now, if you want, I'm a pro-labor, universal, revolutionary centrist. My theories, hand in hand with my revolutionary centrist, they go for the creation of the public-private partnership, the aforementioned. But of course, if you want a video to sponsor PayPal North America business only, I will give something of Karl Marx. I could, because I studied Karl Marx, I've studied Marxism. I'm not a Marxist, I'm not a communist, I'm not a fascist. I'm a pro-labor, universal, revolutionary, centrist, North American geopolitical analyst and theorist, androgynous, pansexual, founder of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom, which I'm laying the foundations with 718 trillions of kisses. Governance of China is important for us to understand. China, whatever we say, digress, debate in parliament, left, right, center, center, left, right, right, left, and center. The governance of China, if I were to speak with Minister of Security or the RCMP heads to our CSIS, Canadian Secret Intelligence Service, I have to ask them one question. We have a dialogue. Have you read the governance of China? If not, start reading, start discussing it. Just volumes, a little bit. There are 4 volumes, different way you can read audiobooks. Discuss it. That's the philosophy that Xi Jinping governs China by, and the Communist Party of China is governed by those 4 volumes mainly, and operates according to those philosophies, values, and aspirations. One of it called the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, the rejuvenation of, just like I say, for the regeneration, rebirth of Quebec, La Belle Province, of Canada, of the North American civilizational collective, of the collective North American civilization, of which we are very distinct, my brothers and sisters. Distinct. I'm not going to say different, because I believe we're one human race. Perhaps I'm a dreamer in that way, world peace. But I'm also a realist. I also admit I have aggression, but I channel and sublimate the aggression, and I aim for defense, defense, defense. Paid my rent, paid my electricity bill, paid my rent for the month of May It's May 4th. Be the force be with you. May 4th, paid my rent, paid my electricity bill, paid those bills and got coffee and food. I'm grateful. Thank you, farmers. Thank you, farmers of North America. So the governance of China is something which has to be understood. Understood, read by the positive B, if we are to have a dialogue on it. And how do we move forward? Break perhaps impasse and XYZ. Is it too late? I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to say something straightforward and direct again. The system they purport, paradoxically again, Xi Jinping quotes in Governance of China, Marxism, Leninism, Marxist, Lenin, they're Marxists. Karl Marx's Das Kapital, right? His writings in Das Kapital and Communism, the Communist Manifesto, and other writings of which he wrote, Karl Marx, during his time, right? I read Das Kapital, I had a headache. Das Kapital aside and other writings aside, governance of China is something that encouraging all politicians and security services to read, to understand more China as a civilization as it is today, and their aspirations for a socialist spiritual civilization. Paradox, kind of again a paradox in many ways. Socialist, spiritual, socialist civilization which they aspire to. They're always saying, even in governance of China, that they're to go to the next phase of development, to the next phase of reaching a certain stage, the last stage of communism, which is a stateless, classless society. Got to pass through socialism as it is embodied in Karl Marx, with a lot of language and more sophisticated theorizing and theoretical linguistics. But nonetheless, for China, their system has worked. Just like my workout training program system has worked for me, for China, and many Chinese, Han Chinese, if you were to say ethnic, whatever, ethnicity, whatever have you, ethnicity, Han China, Han, H-A-N, Han, Chinese ethnicity, it has worked for them, right? It has worked for them. Chinism, or socialism with Chinese characteristics. That's, and again, a term used commonly in the governance of China and Xi Jinping's discourses and dialogue. Socialism with Chinese characteristics to go towards the last communist spiritual civilization which they're striving for. So socialism with Chinese characteristics, first laid in the 1978 by Deng Xiaoping, and then purported and developed from there. Socialism with Chinese characteristics, meaning the incorporation of values, philosophies of the Chinese civilization, which is it's a civilization, Sino, what I call the Sino civilizational complex. Just like I say, North America, we are a new. What's different, us North Americans, is we are a new civilization, arising, emerging. Canada, US, Mexico, and the islands. We're a emergent civilizational complex, a complex of North American civilization, of which we did a great compromise here 156 years ago on the French language. For us to have peace, harmony, and mutual understanding in Quebec on the French language, which I love. I love speaking. I wrote a poem today, I write a poem yesterday, I write a poem tomorrow in French and rock and roll songs. I'm a Quebecer. And we made that compromise, a bilingual compromise. We also, I learned a little bit of Spanish. And for me, when I step outside to the right, I have brothers and sisters who are citizens, who are blacks. To the left, I have brothers and sisters who are Quebecers, and again in my front I have from Mexico. So I got just this area here on my street, North America, the North American civilizational complex, is diversity embodied just on my street and on my neighborhood. The diversity of North America, because we are plural, more diverse in that manner. Then, of course, and this is again a factor which must be understood by generals, by policymakers, by politicians, left, right, and center, is that China doesn't have the multiculturalism. And we have my black brothers and sisters who are my brothers and sisters of North America. They're black, right? My black brothers and sisters of North America, what, 13.3%, 13.4. Later, I'm not sure. Latest, probably increased, and mixed race, of course, mixed race, but just black or one race. I guess mixed race maybe now in the 20%. But my black brothers and sisters of North America is about Canada 13.3%, United States 13.4%, or vice versa, something around that. China doesn't have that. China doesn't have that. Chinese are 93.7% of 1 point. The Han Chinese are supposedly the biggest in terms of population ethnic group. I believe in one human race, but we have they have these characteristics, cultural language, right? We are mainly English, the English language, right? Well, I find Chinese language beautiful and expressive, and the written character is quite intriguing, quite complex, quite artistic as well. Artistic, I can appreciate that civilizational cultural distinction from our alphabet and our way of speaking with them, not to attribute negative or bad or evil at all, not to attribute negative, bad or evil, not to attribute negative to the other, bad or evil, but to understand, and then to try to find some solution, some compromise for mutually beneficial understanding, for to break the impasses, for us to move forward for more peace and North American security, defense only, right? But my brothers and sisters in China doesn't have that. Doesn't have that, these components which we have, right? Which I love, and I want us to move forward together as North Americans unite is the call of the North American Dragon. Yes, for world peace, coast to coast, but I pray here from the island and with our own healings and our own transformations and our own little problems which we have here, of which the more climate change has caused flooding, hurricanes, these got to be addressed in the 21st century now. Try to more adapt, find solutions. One of my solutions for me personally has been beginning a fitness journey, working out, training and exercising. Wow, losing 77 pounds, getting fit, getting out of depression, getting out of suicide, being suicidal and depressed. I've conquered depression. It's also a joy to work out, train, exercise. It's like a joy for me now. I enjoy it. The China, the governance, the government, distinctions as well as they are to be made here. But nonetheless, my brothers and sisters, I say that whatever we say about the Communist Party of China, CCP, Xi Jinping, I will say that their system that they have and that they've changed and transformed since 1984 to export, to become the top exporter of goods, top exporter of goods, and they build their infrastructure and the mega cities. They're, I believe, 7 or maybe even 8 out of the top 10 ports are now in China. Ports, shipping ports, out of 10, the biggest mega, the most powerful, the grandest ports, shipping ports, I believe 7 or even 8 of the top 10 are now in China, brothers and sisters. Their system has worked for them. Socialism with Chinese characteristics has worked for China. Socialism with Chinese characteristics has worked for China. Paradoxically, it's a paradox as well, but socialism with Chinese characteristics has worked for China. They build mega cities, build infrastructure, high tech, Not gonna go their authoritarianism, how they view their relation between the people and the government and the government and the people, and their aspirations, which are embedded in the governance of China, and one has to read them in order to fully understand them and to fully make more an idea. Just like my theories and my propositions and my theories, which are three: the Trinity, Holy Trinity of the Adrian Hanna Dragon's Holy Trinity, the CIT, Citizen Integration Theory, DRT, Debt Row Fusion Theory, and DFT, Democratic Fusion Theory, to be implemented via the fourth dimension, and the fourth dimension is love. Love is also action. For the creation of the Universal Exchange Unit and the two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions, the North American Citizen Integrated Dance League for purpose and pleasure for the environment and to dance, and the North American Citizen Integrated defense only and solely coast to coast defense, security, and service. Services, whatever it can be, washing feet, massaging, kissing, whatever it is, with accounting and integrated with the Instagram, Facebook, so that there's no abuse. Too many services. Don't ask for massage therapy 3 times a day there. Don't abuse the dragons, Dragon Army, Service and Security Force, and Emergency Response Force. Fundamentally a public-private partnership with all corporations, organizations, institutions that currently exist, absorb RCMP here in Canada, SQ, Service, Certes Quebec, SPVM, and other institutions and organizations across the North American Civilizational Collective. That is what I'm advocating for, what I'm proponing, what I'm proposing and theorizing and advocating and have advocated. And yes, I'm not perfect, far from it, but I will to bring some joy, bring some art, more art and my theories to the table for a public-private partnership for the rejuvenation, rebirth, and prosperity and defense and joy of the North American civilizational complex, the collective North American civilization, Quebec, La Belle Province, Canada, and North America. Yes, also for world peace, but a Dragon Army to be non-intervention, outside the realms of our collective North American civilization, whether it deals with emergency response for XYZ factors, whether to deal with helping in terms of the help when necessary when a climate disaster occurred on flooding or hurricane and XYZ factors. Socialism with Chinese characteristics, how much we understand of it, has worked for China. Has worked for China. Has worked for China. It is what it is. We can tear our shirt off. XYZ. Karl Marx, Marxism, communism, authoritarianism, totalitarianism. My brothers and sisters of North America. President Biden, my brother Scorpio Biden, my brother Justin Trudeau, whom I would love to dance at Pride Parade with, and maybe more than dance with consent. More than dance with consent. Socialism with Chinese characteristics has worked and is working for China. Whether we like it or not, it has worked for China. It has worked for them. We build mega cities, man. Infrastructure, ports. You just gotta see a few documentaries and a few videos. Right, Chinese mega cities, Chinese ports. Look on Wikipedia. The they're the top producer of almost so many goods. I believe pork, chicken, eggs by a big margin. I believe, if I remember last time, eggs by a big margin. Big producer of food, of eggs, of chicken, of pork, of barley, wheat, all these grains. They're top producer in the world, man. It's worked for them. I have no business interest, no social interest in China, outside of North America, or whatever it is outside of North America. I will for world peace and moving forward, but many of my predictions, my geopolitical analysis of 2019 has proven correct. We do not fully understand, many of us, China, modern China, and their rise of China. Some say incredible, spectacular, amazing rise of China since 1984, and the reforms and export. But it has worked for them. What's happening with other factors? And one thing which the Chinese leadership were open about it, since many Western corporations and business and financiers and importers and exporters and businessmen and businesswomen started doing business since 1984 with China. The Chinese always said, the Chinese leadership, the Communist Party of China, Chinese Communist Party, CCP, whatever, Chinese Communist Party founded by and led by Mao Zedong, they said, we'll do business, we'll establish financial relationships, we'll engage in commerce, commercial activities and economics with you. But you, meaning the non-Chinese to them, the Western nations, but you do not interfere in internal domestic Chinese affairs. And that was on the table from the beginning. And back then there was disagreement. We'll do business then, but do not interfere. Right? That was put on the table. Do not interfere with the internal domestic affairs of China. In other words, with the Chinese Communist Party. Chinese Communist Party. People's Republic of China, to be distinguished from the Republic of China, which is another thing which has to be understood, what's called Taiwan. Taiwan is officially the Republic of China, while what's called mainland China is called the People's Republic of China. What a paradox. What a paradox. Dating back in history. Again, I have no business interests with either or, social, political, business interests with either my. I am for world peace, but my is for right here, Montreal Island in my room house and temple. Which tomorrow I gotta clean, do laundry again. Tomorrow, grateful, thankful that I got the washer and the dryer. Grateful, thankful for Hydro-Quebec for this light and the workers who built these dams here. 63 of them since 1944. 63 dams. I'm gonna bless Hydro-Quebec and write some rock and roll songs and give some push-ups and give some good hugs. Offer, put on the table billions of hugs for Hydro-Quebec so that in workers of Hydro-Quebec so that in the coming 7 years they build 7 more dams across this label province. In the next 7 years they build 7 more dams across this label province in the coming 7 years, so that Hydro-Quebec builds 7 more dams to get to 70. To get to 70 in the coming 7 years. Build 7 more. Hydro-Quebec go, Hydro-Quebec go. I'm heating my coffee now thanks to. And it's clean, zero pollution, zero emission energy. And of course there was something in the news that there was a Chinese national with some espionage spying of Hydro-Quebec going on. Whatever the exact full situation was. And whatever the dynamics of that was and ongoing. But there was about 7 weeks ago, a Chinese national who worked for Hydro-Quebec was accused of espionage for China. There's a problem, it's a problem. Diaspora. I do not know. I'm not and do not consider myself a member of any diaspora. I'm a Quebecer in this life and in a past life. Paradoxically, don't remember much about youth, adolescence. Remember paradoxically more about past lives. Remember more about these past years here studying with 1 foot in the streets, 1 foot in the libraries. 1 foot in the streets, 1 foot in the libraries, 1 foot in the streets, 1 foot in the libraries. Studied, read, studied, worked out, suffered, been depressed, and I've written tens of thousands of pages of philosophy, theory, art, poetry, of which I'm now putting on the table and presenting to, of course, my fellow Quebecers, my fellow Canadians, my fellow North Americans, whether black, brown, whatever, North American of any color, my beautiful black brothers and sisters. And brown brothers and sisters, for Mexico brothers and sisters, for North America, because my policies are first for the rejuvenation, defense, and security of North America. As I speak some Spanish, I learned some Spanish, and was born in Mexico in past lives, as I was born here in Quebec in a past life when I was pure land. In the United States after 1776 and before, but twice after 1776, served in the U.S. Army twice. So yours truly, back on to China. 1.4 billion people in China. Their system has worked for them, and we have to understand the governance of China. If we are to break a certain of an impasse, we have to understand the governance of China. We have to we have to read about it so that we can know and understand what their desires, aspirations are, which is from there, Xi Jinping, and what they call the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, right? Just like I want the rebirth of North Americans, because we speak French, English, Spanish, and we're North Americans in from geographical perspective, and we have an emerging common destiny. North Americans. Woe came as well to North America, the foundations of this great melting pot of North America in many ways, sort of a melting pot of North America. I believe my public-private partnership for the rebirth, defense, and security and insurance and prosperity and joy, which includes building 7 more dams in the coming 7 years, getting to 70. Go Hydro Quebec, go Hydro Quebec, go Hydro Quebec. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of Hydro Quebec. I'm a big fan of Hydro Quebec. I have the light on. I have this laptop which I charged earlier. Clean, zero pollution energy I'm utilizing to do this video. The light above my head and the coffee, which I'm gonna get a second cup to switch it in French. So my brothers and sisters, the governance of China is something that our leaders need to understand. The generals, the public security workers, and the RCMP, CSIS, Canadian Security Intelligence Service, also Secret Service, and Canadian, the CSIS, Canadian Security Intelligence Service, CSIS, CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, NSA, National Security Agency. You gotta read, you gotta learn the governance of China. So many things I don't know. I have questions, but I do know that the system they have in China has worked for them. Has worked for them and has worked for them. And Xi Jinping is on his 3rd term, and Xi Jinping's writings in 4 volumes, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, titled The Governance of China, is what many have to get acquainted with to understand China better fully. So, they're reading tonight, tomorrow, in the coming days, Governance of China, powers that be, and I do strongly suggest. Again, I have no interest in China, but I will say send these memos, read the governance of China. That's a memo that China is 93.7 ethnically Han, H-A, and Chinese Han. Another memo that the universities in China teach socialism with Chinese characteristics and the rejuvenation of the Chinese nations, and Xi Jinping taught the universities of China, and science, and so the universities teach, which can be contrasted to some of our universities, which are more, let's say, diverse, and should teach in universities my workout training program system, my thanking the farmers, because everybody got 8, even gangster rappers, right? But that's another story. But nonetheless, those are memos to the powers that be. Memo that China system, social, embodied in the phrase socialism with Chinese characteristics, has worked for them, whether we like it or not, how we understand it or not. Their system, socialism with Chinese characteristics, has worked for them, has worked for the Chinese in China, for many Chinese in China, has worked for them. And with the technological advances that they made, scientifics, and where they are, the system, building the mega cities, urbanizing and incorporating high tech in payments as well, and the infrastructure built, and ports and trains, rapid trains, bullet trains, and electric trains, and all that. It has worked for them. Socialism with Chinese characteristics has and is working for China. Whether we agree and we have issues with it, whatever the issues are, I'm sure we can find, but it has worked for them. And another memo is that I consider quite a few memos. If we are to try to understand and break the impasse, we have to reach a resolution. But again, I have no interest in China. I have no business interests, social, political interests. I will for us to come together to a mutually understanding, and for us to go in peace from now on, to continue a mutually beneficial relations if we can reestablish. Maybe as I'm speaking, China has invaded Taiwan. Maybe as I'm doing this video, China has invaded Taiwan. It's possible that as I'm speaking, now China invades Taiwan, if not tomorrow, in the coming days, weeks, and months ahead. It's possible. It's possible. But that's another paradox. My propositions and my theories, my philosophies are for the North American civilizational complex. That's what I know without a doubt. On COVID, I'm triple vaccinated. I had COVID. I died during COVID, that's what I say. Being reborn as Adrian Hanna, dragon, androgynous, pansexual, founder of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom. Philosopher, poet, artist, geopolitical analyst and theorist, independent psychological analyst and theorist, and the world's greatest living dancing millennial rainbow poet who's not perfect, far from it. And I do not know it all. I have so many questions and unanswers. I don't have all the answers. I don't pretend to be self-righteous and that I am without faults or without lusts or without vices or anything of that sort, as of course I have expressed in this video and have been in the past days, weeks and months, and will in the coming days, weeks and months, of course, as I continue to advocate and philosophize and work as I put in more intellectual, artistic, philosophical and physical work than all the leaders of the free world, NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization combined during COVID, although I'm financially struggling and in debt $10,000 to the RBC I owe them. And if I make a mean, I'm going to give half to my anonymous sister friend. But nonetheless, their system has worked for China, whether we like it or not, whether we agree with it or whatever our thoughts, feelings, and emotions and relationships, is that fundamentally I can give this memo and I can summarize it as: brothers and sisters, North America, left, right, and center, socialism with Chinese characteristics, and that's just to incorporate it all, has worked for the People's Republic of China since 1984. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. Right? I can send memos, plenty of memos, to the powers that be who wants to enter dealing with China. Right? As I did send, and I contrasted North America and China and their strengths, weaknesses and strengths. It's a multiplicity of factors, because I'm speaking maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, in the coming days, weeks and months, it could be that there is an invasion of Taiwan and that China, in their own words, reunifies with Taiwan. The People's Republic of China reunifies with the Republic of China. Both have China in it. China. They're Han Chinese. They identify as Han Chinese. XYZ, right? It's something we gotta consider deeply if we are to attain and work towards becoming North Americans a free people. Freedom is something new. It's also dangerous. I have freedom tattooed here. I showed it again. F-R-E-E-D-O-M. Freedom, it says tattooed. But I admit that by myself, by my solo, I cannot lift the sword of freedom by myself. Hands are too tiny. Feet are too small. Got a little androgynous scar I got a fourth dimension to that tiny trinity. Got a big mouth and some brain and some muscle, and not perfect, far from it. In my main out, I'm androgynous, pansexual, and of course I send a few memos, and already in this one, and I could send a few more memos to the powers that be, and the powers that be, how they deal with the socialist civilization which China has built and is trying to further develop, what they call the spiritual socialist civilization, right? And they're identifying as characteristics of their own development and their further aspirations, because there's further aspirations which are embodied in the words of Xi Jinping and the rejuvenation of the great Chinese nation. So their system has worked for them. That's another summary. Simple memo, direct and straightforward. We can go into deep philosophical parlance. Perhaps it's not necessary, right? Because we can. Sometimes it's better to be straightforward and direct and straightforward, right? And our leaders, I urge our leaders, whatever, right? Just try to be. Sometimes it's better whether you're left, right, and center to be also more straightforward and direct, and so that there's no, we can take some action. We need some more clarity, some action, because action is required. I firmly believe in the implementation of my Trinity of theories for the creation of these new 21st century public-private partnership institutions to be integrated with all existing public and private institutions and organizations, corporations and governments, calling on all willingly living to support it in the 21st century. My CIT, Citizen Integration Theory, my DRT, Debt Refusion Theory, and my DFT, my Democratic Fusion Theory, via the fourth dimension. And that fourth dimension is love, and love is also action. Because we just blah blah blah, it's become theorizing, philosophies, and too many words sometimes is not necessary, sometimes straightforward and direct, like my Debt Refusion Theory, where we are now, approaching June 1st, my sister Janet Yellen, and Federal Reserve, perhaps the United States, to be debt default, unheard of financially, economically, commercial, financial finances of the realm of finance of North America, unheard of the United States to default on the debt. My theory, the DRT, D.R.T. Debt Refusion Theory for the creation of the UE, Universal Exchange Unit, stands for U.E.U. The Universal Exchange Unit, to be based on the US dollar, to take all public and private debt of North Americans, to refuse it, whatever the number is, credit the initial money supply, and standardize all prices on all goods at that point in time, tomorrow, in the coming days, weeks and months ahead, and create the UE in parallel to what the monetary integration, what the euro did, but for North America. And NATO can be part of this North American complex, the creation of the UE and beyond. Bank of International Settlements, BIS, Bank of International Settlements, the BIS, Bank of International Settlements, can be it can be done. We can do it. Create the UE, the Universal Exchange Unit, via biometrics, the hand, the voice, and the eye being unit, biometric identifiers. If you try the DRT, the Debt Refusion Theory for the creation of the EU, I firmly believe in my trinity of theories, with all the imperfections, rock and roll, rap, that I am, hobby rapper, underground rapper, for the farmers, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks. I firmly believe in my theory, my trinity of theories. CIT, Citizen Integration Theory, DRT, Debt Refusion Theory, and Democratic Fusion Theory, DFT, to be implemented via the fourth dimension, and that fourth dimension is love. And love is also action. For the creation of the UE and the two complementary public-private partnership institutions to propel North America for defense of the 21st century and rejuvenation and regeneration and joy and prosperity and joy and peace and joy. That's my dream, which manifests as the dancing goddess and the dragon king. And Xi Jinping, leading China, he has his dream, which is the rejuvenation of the great Chinese nation, and continuing the system, political, social, economic, financial, commercial, ideological even, system Started with Mao Zedong, for the foundation of the People's Republic of China, October 1949. And of course, their Chinese, their system embodied in socialism with Chinese characteristics, which has to be understood and looked and discussed as it is discussed in the governance of China. The governance of China, the governance of China. It has to be studied, read by the powers that be. It's in another memo. Again, China is 93.7% Han Chinese. Their system has worked for them. They're gonna fight to defend it. There's 1.4 billion people. Don't forget that. Right? They don't have the same things, same cultural inclinations and that we have. I can even contrast something more simple. In terms from observation and from knowledge and from discourse, we are more prone towards the individual. China is more prone towards for the group, for the harmony of the group, more of self-sacrifice of the individual desires, needs, and aspirations, for the group, for the collective. It is what it is. I'm not saying good, bad, or evil. Freedom is a double-edged sword. Whereas when I step outside, my own underground room, house, and temple, right here I'm in my own room, house, and temple. Right? I could get naked, start dancing naked. I'm Madonna, Tekashi 6ix9ine music, or whatever it is. When I step outside, I'm no longer just a private citizen. I'm also a public with an added dimension. Because right now I'm sharing from my private. I can turn everything off, get naked. Price is 1 million for 1 hour naked dance. Can get naked, dance on Celine Dion, dance on Beyonce, dance on a soundtrack, Tekashi 6ix9ine, whatever it is. I could do that. I can't do that. But I'm in my private, so I can close the blinds and do that. I'm private citizen. I'm going to put it in the public on YouTube. My discourse, my lecture, my memos to North American security services and President Biden and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and other institutions and organizations, diplomats and whatever have you. So I share from the private to the public and the private from the private and the public. When I step outside, I'm no longer just private citizen. Right now I'm just private. Maybe I won't put this video. Maybe it's never gonna go public. Maybe somebody hacked my Wi-Fi and now somebody sees. Well. Notice I fantasize 1 day out of 7 that I'm a cuck on a BDSM switch. There you go. You know something about me. Secret Services and rock and roll. Keep on rock and rolling in the free world. And I do know that Russia's Yars 24, they can reach here. It's not a joke. We gotta build a defense. Interception in Les Îles de la Madeleine. We gotta build. Trying to intercept those potential ICBMs. For the North American, I'm calling and advocating for a North American dome with satellites interconnected on the ground and satellites and coast to coast for the defense with satellite telecommunications in order to be able to intercept the ICBM rockets. Stands for Intercontinental Ballistic Missiles. The ICBMs, which can reach here, right here in Montreal. They can travel 11,000 kilometers. From here to Moscow, it's 7,700. So they can go all the way to almost to the other coast. So we gotta understand East-West defense of the North American civilizational complex, and we have to understand certain elements of China. And now I'm gonna get my coffee and we're gonna pause. I'm gonna go for a little bit of French rock and roll. Tout French now. Pour le français maintenant, bonjour, bon matin quand vous allez entendre ça. Je remercie pour le café, j'ai de la gratitude. Mon loyer est payé, ma facture d'électricité est payée, puis j'ai du café, puis de quoi manger pour ce soir, puis pour demain, puis pour les autres jours à venir. j'étais en train de discuter, j'ai fait une philosophie vis-à-vis la Chine, parce que ça a été dans les nouvelles, notre relation nord-américaine, puis québécois-québécoise, puis canadien, puis ça a été dans les nouvelles des relations géopolitiques, diplomatiques, politiques avec la Chine, la République. Je parle la République populaire de Chine, parce qu'il y a la République de la Chine qui est le Taïwan, puis la République populaire de la Chine. Fait qu'il faut faire deux distinctions, mais même que c'est bien sûr, ça va dans l'histoire, puis c'est question de unification, ou question de l'invasion de potentiel de la République populaire de la Chine avec le Taïwan, puis question bien sûr de qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant, la détérioration de nos relations avec la Chine et qu'est-ce qui se passe présentement. Le 4 mai 2023, 4 mai, je vous encourage tous et toutes à faire de l'entraînement physique régulièrement. L'entraînement physique a été, sera ma médecine et thérapie de choix. On s'étire un peu, Québécois. J'ai fait appel au financement, un partenariat public-privé direct de ma grotte de dragon Arc-En-Ciel, d'où j'ai perdu 77 livres. J'ai créé mon propre système d'entraînement physique. En 2019, en octobre, j'ai créé mon propre système d'entraînement physique qui ne requiert aucun équipement, puis qui est simple, efficace et facile à faire. Je vous encourage. J'encourage l'adoption depuis l'âge de 7 ans, à peu près l'âge de 7 ans, des citoyens de le faire pour l'entraînement physique. Et adopter la philosophie que le corps c'est un temple pour le plaisir puis pour le but. Donc pour le plaisir puis pour le but, pour faire de l'entraînement physique, pour encourager les gens à faire de l'entraînement physique régulièrement, puis financer le financement de l'entraînement physique régulièrement, puis l'adoption de mon système d'entraînement qui ne requiert aucun équipement, qui est simple, facile, efficace à faire. J'ai perdu 77 livres. J'ai performé, j'ai fait plus que 350 sessions. Donc, vous pouvez voir sur YouTube, vous pouvez voir dans ma chaîne, j'ai fait en direct sur Facebook, que j'ai mis sur YouTube, plus que 350. Depuis octobre 2019, un nouveau CV, nouveau CV curriculum vitae, plus que 350 systèmes, plus que 350 sessions, 77 livres, donc je suis fier. J'encourage, je fais appel à tous et tous, je vous encourage de faire l'entraînement physique régulièrement, au quotidien, de faire, c'est bon pour l'esprit, pour la santé mentale, c'est bon pour le cœur, bon pour la santé, puis je fais appel au financement de un partenariat public-privé, parce que fondamentalement, mes théories, la trinité de mes théories, la sainte trinité, la théorie de l'intégration citoyenne, la théorie de la réfusion de la dette, la théorie de la fusion démocratique. Cette trinité, l'implémentation de cette trinité de théories, je veux rajouter une quatrième dimension. La quatrième dimension, c'est l'amour. L'amour, c'est l'action aussi. Parce que si tu ne sais pas d'amour, je veux rien savoir, l'amour, c'est l'action aussi. Puis, je vais exprimer ma gratitude encore une fois que mon loyer est payé. Je suis content que mon loyer soit payé pour le mois de mai, le 4 mai aujourd'hui. Ma facture d'électricité à l'Hydro-Québec, je mets sur la table des milliards de câlins, des milliards de bisous, de chatouilles, puis du rock'n'roll, puis des bras puis des muscles pour que Hydro-Québec, mes frères et sœurs travailleurs de l'Hydro-Québec dans les 7 prochaines années, 7 ans qui viennent d'aujourd'hui, bâtissez encore, construisez-moi 7 autres centrales pour qu'on se rende à 70 centrales pour l'Amérique du Nord, ça, l'électricité renouvelable qui n'a pas les papas en tête, puis avec laquelle je fais cette vidéo, avec laquelle la lumière en haut de ma tête, puis qui a chauffé mon café, puis je vais utiliser pour les micro-ondes pour chauffer ma nourriture après cette vidéo. L'ampoule. Dans une ou deux ampoules, J'aime bien le lait de poule. C'est vrai, ça c'est vrai par exemple. Je vais discuter un peu avant de mettre la vidéo parce que je dois, je fais un appel à Premier ministre, M. Trudeau et Biden aussi, puis les forces comme la GRC, puis la force de sécurité, CIA, puis tous les organismes, le gouvernement du Canada, les États-Unis, parce que avec la détérioration des relations sino-canadiennes, je dis sino, S-I-N-O, comme quand je fais référence à la Chine comme une civilisation, parce que la Chine c'est une civilisation ancienne comme nous, que j'appelle les Québécois et Québécoises, les Canadiens, les États-Unis, le Mexique, moi j'appelle le complexe de civilisation nord-américaine, soit le collectif de civilisation nord-américaine, donc on est distinct et unique en Amérique, dans le monde, parce qu'on est une nouvelle émergente civilisation avec un destin commun, on est très divers, des Nord-Américains, on est très très divers, on est les plus divers donc, au monde, comme complexe de civilisation, la civilisation nord-américaine, donc on a fait le compromis, la 156 ans, le grand compromis que j'appelle du français, pour la paix et l'harmonie de l'Amérique du Nord. Puis on continue avec ça, on continue avec ce compromis. Parce que des fois, c'est des gros compromis, des fois il faut mettre des choses sur la table, moi je l'admets. Dans certaines choses, je suis médiocre. Dans certaines choses, je suis comme ci, comme ça. Dans certaines choses, je suis pas bon. Mais je suis excellent, super, très bon. Ou rock'n'roll, la poésie, la philosophie puis de l'analyse en géopolitique parce que j'avais fait de l'analyse en 2019, ça a beaucoup donné. Ça a fait qu'on s'est rendu ou que mon analyse avait prédit en 2019 en octobre. Soit qu'on s'en va, on se dirige vers une troisième guerre mondiale. Le paradoxe, c'est que je suis un avocat pour la paix mondiale, mais je l'admets moi-même qu'en dedans de moi, j'ai de l'agressivité. Mais qu'est-ce qu'on fait? Deux mots qui désignent ma philosophie, la philosophie de votre dragon arc-en-ciel. La canalisation et la sublimation. On fait des pompes, qu'on sublime. C'est important de sublimer pour pas faire mal à aucune autre personne. Pas juste l'agressivité puis la violence, la sexualité aussi. Comme moi je l'admets, j'aime ça le BDSM switch. BDSM c'est le, que ça veut dire, c'est le sadomasochisme, le bandage, la domination, me faire fouetter un peu, je l'admets. Le service secret russe, vous allez pas me pouvoir me faire chantager avec rien parce que j'ai pas d'intérêt économique, financier, politique en dehors du Québec, de la belle province du Canada, puis de l'Amérique du Nord, complexe des situations nord-américaines. Je vais le dire, j'ai pas d'intérêt économique, financier, culturel, quoi que ce soit né avec l'Est ou l'Ouest, la Chine ou la Russie en dehors de l'Amérique du Nord, en dehors de ma grotte de dragon que je dois nettoyer puis faire le ménage demain puis je fais le lavage de ma linge puis je nettoie puis je m'entraîne physiquement puis j'écris des poèmes puis du rock'n'roll puis je continue à faire de l'art puis de la philosophie puis tout ce que je fais en tant qu'artiste athlète indépendant, mon travail en tant qu'artiste athlète indépendant. En tant qu'artiste athlète indépendant, philosophe et poète, qui danse le plus un septième comédien parce que j'aime l'humour, j'aime faire rire, des blagues, des contes, des jokes, j'aime faire rire. Puis ça me dérange pas que de temps en temps emmener de l'humour, de la comédie à des gens, puis la joie, c'est important. Là. Des bons vivants, on appelle. Ce qui est 8h27 le soir, côte est de l'Amérique du Nord. Je fais appel au gouvernement qui lise la gouvernance de la Chine. Je sais pas si en français c'est la même chose. J'ai fait de la traduction de l'anglais Governance of China, mais les livres audio que j'écoute sont en anglais. Mais c'est important, si on parle anglais, ou peut-être il y a une version en français aussi. Moi, j'ai écouté en anglais, mais c'est les écritures du chef d'État de la Chine, la République populaire de la Chine, Xi Jinping, le président, chef, dirigeant, Xi Jinping, soit le chef du Parti communiste puis de la Chine, le général aussi. Il y en a 4 volumes. 4 volumes. C'est écrit depuis 2012 jusqu'au dernier, cette année, l'année passée. C'est écrit en plus qu'11 ans, à peu près 11 ans. Comme ma trinité de théorie qui a été écrite pendant des années, puis là je la présente d'une manière orale, vous pouvez lire puis entendre. Parce que pour comprendre la Chine, il faut comprendre puis écouter un peu, écouter la gouvernance de la Chine, puis leur système. Qui, mes frères et sœurs, des fois je suis sophistiqué, puis beaucoup de paroles, beaucoup de mots, que des fois il faut être plus direct, puis mon message, mes mots nord-américains, c'est que Québécois, Québécoises, n'importe nos sentiments envers la Chine, puis la République populaire de la Chine, puis leur gouvernement, puis le marxisme, le communisme, le socialisme, je vais vous dire ça. Le système, leur système, qu'eux autres ils appellent le socialisme avec caractéristiques chinoises, qui appellent ça comme globalement, pour faire un résumé de leur idéologie, de leur philosophie marxiste, de Karl Marx. Un paradoxe, là, c'est un paradoxe encore. Leur idée, leur théorie, leur philosophie, c'est le communisme ou le socialisme avec caractéristiques chinois. Socialism with Chinese characteristics. Fait qu'il faut comprendre ça. Le socialisme avec caractéristiques chinoises. Puis, pour comprendre, il faut lire la gouvernance de la Chine. Puis discerner, le discernement un peu. Parce que mes frères et sœurs du Québec, Québécois et Québécoises, mes frères et sœurs de la SQ, Sûreté du Québec, la SPVM, la GRC, la Sécurité nationale, qu'on est maintenant avec ce qui se passe avec la diplomatie, puis supposément l'intervention dans nos élections, puis dans d'autres choses qui se passent avec l'espionnage, puis tout ça, qu'on a eu de l'État-Québec. Là, je vais vous dire ça, le système qu'ils ont, ça a fonctionné pour eux autres. Leur système, comme moi, mon système d'entraînement physique que j'ai créé en 2019, ça a fonctionné pour moi. Ça a fonctionné, ça a marché, c'est pour moi, puis ça va continuer de l'être. Simple, mon système d'entraînement, simple, efficace, ça ne requiert aucun équipement. Ben des pompes, de la marche, puis des étirements, puis des rapaces. Vous pouvez voir plus que 350 sessions d'entraînement physique que j'ai faites, qui sont sur YouTube, sur Facebook, que j'ai fait le live streaming en direct, j'ai passé en direct, Puis j'encourage tous et toutes à faire l'entraînement physique régulièrement, puis mes théories, la Trinité, la Sainte Trinité du Dragon Arc-En-Ciel, la théorie d'intégration citoyenne, la théorie de la réfusion de la dette, la théorie de la fusion démocratique, l'implémentation de cette Trinité de théorie est d'être par la 4e dimension, puis cette 4e dimension, c'est l'amour. Puis l'amour, c'est l'action aussi. Pour créer les 2 institutions de partenariat public-privé. Soit l'armée du Dragon, l'armée intégrée nord-américaine, citoyen intégré pour le service puis la sécurité. La défense seulement pour la défense. Puis l'armée de la danse qui danse, soit l'armée nord-américaine intégrée de la danse. C'est, en résumé, 2 institutions de partenariat public-privé que je fais appel. Pour le collectif, la renaissance, rejuvenance, joie, sécurité, défense, prospérité, joie de la Québec, la belle province, Canada, puis le collectif de civilisation nord-américaine. Donc, en tant que philosophe et analyste en géopolitique, c'est ma théorie, ma thèse, si vous voulez, que nous autres en Amérique du Nord, on forme un collectif de civilisation nord-américain. Donc, on a fait le compromis pour le français, il y a bien longtemps. On continue de le faire, comme moi je le fais. Je fais ma part. Ça me dérange pas de faire du bénévolat pour le français, là. Chanter en poésie, puis lire le Becherel, quoi que ce soit. Mais pour comprendre, puis pour dire que le système même si on ne l'aime pas, même si on n'est pas d'accord, autoritaire, totalitaire. Mais la vérité, c'est que le système que les autres y appellent en général, avec bien des choses plus complexes, idéologiques, marxistes, socialistes, communistes de la Chine, le système que les autres ils résument en tant que le socialisme avec des caractéristiques chinoises, il a fonctionné pour eux autres. Ça a fonctionné pour eux. Depuis 1984, regardez, on bâtit l'urbanisation, des villes, métropoles de ciment et des gratte-ciel. Moi, je veux voir des gratte-ciel ici. Construisez-moi des gratte-ciel ici, des centrales ici. Parce que directement, vous dire, j'ai pas d'intérêt, ni financier, ni sociaux, en dehors de l'Amérique du Nord. J'en ai pas. J'en ai pas. Je suis pas membre d'aucun diaspora, je suis pas membre d'aucun diaspora. Je me considère pas comme en étant un membre d'aucune diaspora. Je suis québécois, canadien, nord-américain. Ben d'autres vies, j'étais né ici dans une autre vie, j'ai des loups ici, à pousser des chevaux sur une calèche. J'étais né pur laine, peut-être que je suis pas pur laine, mais je vous aime, tu sais. Je suis québécois, je me considère québécois, canadien, nord-américain. J'ai, dans d'autres vies, 2 autres vies, j'étais né après 1776 aux États-Unis. J'ai servi dans l'armée américaine 2 fois. 718 km sud de Montréal, 156 ans avant. 2 fois j'ai servi. Dans 2 autres vies antérieures. Mais il faut comprendre, même si on critique, qu'est-ce qu'on sait, qu'est-ce qu'on crie, qu'est-ce qu'on dit, mais pour la Chine, pour les 1,4 milliards Chinois et Chinoises, qui se considèrent comme si un ethnie, Han, l'ethnie de Han, ils n'ont pas les mêmes dimensions sociales, culturelles que nous en Amérique du Nord. C'est une civilisation quand même ancienne, puis là, ils ont réussi à monter économiquement, financièrement, commercial, militaire, social. Ils ont bâti, ils ont construit sur 10 ports, il y en a 7 ou peut-être 8 majeurs, les plus grands ports de bateaux, là, en Chine. C'est en Chine. Du monde, ils ont été bâtis depuis 1984. Fait qu'ils ont réussi à construire même des trains qui vont super vite, des trains à vitesse qu'on appelle électriques. Puis même l'intégration technologique dans leur méga-ville, dans leur métropole, là. Des mégapoles, de complexes urbains que j'ai jamais vus. Fait que leur système, ça a fonctionné pour eux autres. Comme pour moi, mon système d'entraînement, qui est simple, efficace et simple, qui ça a fonctionné pour eux autres. Puis, il faut comprendre la gouvernance de la Chine. Ils n'ont pas les mêmes dimensions en Chine populaire. Même maintenant, quand je suis en train de dire, puis philosopher un peu, peut-être la Chine va faire l'invasion de la République de la Chine, soit le Taïwan. Le Taïwan s'appelle officiellement la République de la Chine, puis le continent de la Chine s'appelle la République populaire de la Chine, qui date de leur guerre civile, il y a 77 ans. C'est un paradoxe, mais ça peut se passer demain peut-être, sinon dans les prochains jours, semaines à venir, mois, un jour, semaine, mois à venir. C'est possible que la Chine envahisse la République de la Chine, soit la Taïwan. C'est possible. On peut pas dire non, c'est possible. Mon système d'entraînement physique, puis que j'ai créé avec un scénario de la Troisième Guerre mondiale en octobre 2019, c'était conçu pour l'Amérique du Nord, pour la défense de côte à côte d'un océan. De l'Est, on a l'Atlantique, l'Ouest, on a le Pacifique, pour la Renaissance, Québec, Canada, l'Amérique du Nord. De côte à côte. Il faut qu'on fasse une défense parce que les missiles intercontinentaux peuvent se rendre de la Corée du Nord, de la Chine puis de la Russie. La Russie, on a les Yars 24 qui appellent les Yars, c'était comment que ça s'appelle, missile intercontinental de IS-24, ça peut se rendre à 11 000 km. De Montréal jusqu'à Moscou, c'est 7 700 km. Fait que ça peut se rendre même plus loin, jusqu'au en région, jusqu'au milieu du Canada, jusqu'à Saskatchewan, même jusqu'en Alberta, de Moscou, de l'autre bord. C'est sérieux. Il faut qu'on se construire ensemble en NORAD, les Américains, avec des satellites intégrés de côte à côte pour pouvoir interpeller les missiles intercontinentaux. Ça, c'est un de mes projets. Faisons dans les 7 prochaines années, puis bâtissons encore 7 centrales en Amérique du Nord pour la sécurité et la défense de notre collectif de civilisation. Donc, on a un destin commun pour la renaissance, la revenance, pour nos enfants, les apprendre à sublimer l'agression, plus d'entraînement physique, plus d'entraînement physique pour l'entraînement physique. Que je les encourage tous et toutes. La Chine, ils ont de leur dimension, puis ils sont 1,4 milliard. Leur système, mes frères et sœurs, il a fonctionné, puis il fonctionne pour eux. Ce qu'ils appellent le socialisme avec caractéristiques chinois. Nous autres, notre système, maintenant, on change, on évolue. Je fais appel pour un partenariat public-privé, tous et toutes, pour ce système que je propose d'être pour le plaisir, puis pour le but de renaître, puis de défendre l'Amérique du Nord. Parce que j'ai pas d'intérêt ailleurs, ni financier, ni économique, ni social, ni d'autres. Sur l'île de Montréal, sur la belle province de Québec, le Canada, côte à côte. Je ne suis pas membre d'aucun diaspora, je me considère pas être membre d'aucun diaspora. Oui, je souhaite la paix dans le monde, mais on est nord-américain, je suis nord-américain de culture, de philosophie, de manière de penser peut-être, de physique qu'on renaît ça. Mais c'est une réalité qui nous touche maintenant, qu'est-ce qui est la détérioration des relations politiques, diplomatiques avec la Chine. Chinoise nord-américaine, la Chine nord-américaine. Avec le ballon, avec tout ce qui s'est passé avec la Chine. Puis avant que j'avais fait mon système d'entraînement, bon, ça, j'avais pris en considération les Michael Kovrig et Michael Spavor qui avaient été détenus en Chine à cause de Meng Wanzhou. Ça a été résolu, ça, mais il y a eu d'autres histoires. Puis maintenant, on va mettre la gouvernance de la Chine. Si?
Most important to pay. 20 cents. Full confidence in the path. Principal proponent is Jiang Zemin. End of footnote 10. And the scientific outlook on development. Footnote 11. The scientific outlook on development is an important component of the system of theories of Chinese socialism and the guiding thought of the CPC. It gives top priority to development, puts people first, and seeks all-around balanced and sustainable development with a holistic approach. The principal proponent is Hu Jintao. End of footnote 11. It has inherited, continued, and creatively developed Marxism-Leninism. Footnote 12. See footnote 8. End of footnote 12. And Mao Zedong thought. Footnote 13. Mao Zedong thought has always been the fundamental guiding thought of the CPC. It is a series of theoretical summarizations and conclusions that Chinese communists represented by Mao Zedong drew from their unique experience in China's revolution and development in accordance with the basic tenets of Marxism. It includes correct theories, principles, and systems of scientific thinking on China's revolution and development, which have been attested by facts. It is the crystallization of the collective wisdom of the CPC, and the principal proponent is Mao Zedong. End of footnote 13. We should not abandon Marxism-Leninism and Mao Zedong thought. Otherwise, we would be deprived of our foundation. Moreover, we must focus our work on the practical problems in reform, opening up, and modernization, and on our various endeavors with a view to the application of Marxist theory, theoretical thinking on practical issues, and initiation of new practice for development. In contemporary China, upholding the theory of socialism with Chinese characteristics means upholding Marxism in its true sense. The socialist system with Chinese characteristics integrates the fundamental political system, the basic political systems, the basic economic system, and other systems and mechanisms. Footnote 14. The fundamental political system refers to the system of people's congresses, which is the organizational form of political power of the People's Republic of China. According to the system, the people elect deputies to the National People's Congress, NPC, and local people's congresses that are the organs in which the people exercise state power. The NPC is the highest organ of state power and has the right to amend the Constitution, enact laws, and decide on major issues concerning the country. Local people's congresses at all levels are local organs of state power. which decide on major issues in their localities within the power bestowed on them by the Constitution and the laws. End of footnote 14. Footnote 15. The basic political systems include the system of CPC-led multi-party cooperation and political consultation, the system of regional ethnic autonomy, and the system of community-level self-governance. The system of CPC-led multi-party cooperation and political consultation refers to the system of consultation on political matters among the CPC, other political parties, and personages with no party affiliation. The system of regional ethnic autonomy refers to the exercise of regional autonomy in areas inhabited by minority ethnic groups in compact communities under unified state leadership, where autonomy is exercised by organs of self-government. The system of community-level self-governance is a form of people's participation in the management of state and social affairs. Neighborhood committees and village committees set up in urban and rural areas, respectively, are the self-governance organizations of the people in their own residential areas. Footnote 16. The basic economic system refers to the economic system in which public ownership is dominant and diverse forms of ownership develop side by side. End of footnote 16. Returning to the main text. It combines the socialist system with Chinese characteristics, combines national and local democratic systems, the party's leadership, the position of the people as masters of the country, and the law-based governance. This system conforms to the national conditions in China, showcases the special traits and strengths of socialism with Chinese characteristics, and provides a fundamental systemic guarantee for China's development. The socialist system with Chinese characteristics is unique and effective. However, we should be aware that it is not perfect or fully functioning. The Chinese socialist system needs to improve to keep in step with the development of the socialist cause with Chinese characteristics. During his inspection tour of southern China in 1992, Deng Xiaoping pointed out, quote, "It will probably take another 30 years for us to develop a more mature and well-defined system in every field," end quote. Footnote 17, Deng Xiaoping, excerpts from talks given in Wuchang, Shenzhen, Zhuhai, and Shanghai. Selected works of Deng Xiaoping, Volume 3, English edition, Foreign Languages Press, Beijing, 1994, page 360. End of footnote 17. It was emphasized at the 18th National Congress that it is imperative to give top priority to the building of systems while giving full play to the superiority of the socialist political system in China. We must improve current systems and promote institutional innovation with theoretical innovation based on practice. We must proceed from reality, formulate new systems in a timely fashion, and put in place a well-developed, systematically and rationally regulated and effective framework of systems to ensure that all systems and institutions are working properly and functioning well, and thereby provide a more effective institutional guarantee for new victories. Third, we must have an in-depth understanding of the basic foundation, overall planning, and main mandate of building socialism with Chinese characteristics. It was emphasized at the 18th National Congress that the basic foundation for building socialism with Chinese characteristics is that China is in the primary stage of socialism, that its overall plan is to seek economic, political, cultural, social, and ecological progress, and that its main objective is to achieve socialist modernization and rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. Footnote 18. The primary stage of socialism is a particular historical stage in the building of Chinese socialism. It refers to the historical stage in which China has gradually come out of underdevelopment and will have by and large realized socialist modernization. It will take at least 100 years to take shape, from the completion of the socialist transformation of the private ownership of the means of production in the 1950s to the completion of socialist modernization. End of footnote 18. The foundation, plan, and objective are succinctly and pointedly defined. A better understanding and grasp of these new definitions will help us get to the essence and essentials of socialism with Chinese characteristics. It is important to stress the basic foundation of China being in the primary stage of socialism. This is the paramount reality and the most important national condition in contemporary China. We must always bear it in mind and promote reform and development in all respects on the basis of this very reality. It is imperative not only in accelerating the economy, but also in speeding up political, cultural, social, and ecological development. Not only when our economy was small, but also when it is large, and not only when planning long-term development, but also during daily work. The party's basic line for the primary stage of socialism is the lifeline of the party and the state. In practice, we must firmly adhere to one central task, two basic points, neither deviating from the one central task nor neglecting the two basic points. Footnote 19. One central task, two basic points is the main content of the CPC's basic guideline in the primary stage of socialism. The one central task refers to economic development, while the two basic points are the four cardinal principles and the reform and opening up policy. End of footnote 19. We must adopt a holistic approach to the realization of the common ideal of building Chinese socialism and the long-term goal of realizing communism. Stand firm against various erroneous views aimed at abandoning socialism, and rectify all erroneous and unrealistic mindsets, policies, and measures that go beyond the current primary stage of socialism. This will keep us from being either self-abased or overconfident, and enable us to achieve new victories for China's socialism. We give top priority to overall planning, simply because we must achieve all-round development of socialism with Chinese characteristics. The most important thing for our party is to govern the country well and rejuvenate the nation. The party must always represent the requirements for developing the advanced productive forces. We must focus on economic development and promote coordinated political, cultural, social, and ecological development on the basis of economic growth. As China steps forward socially and economically, it has become increasingly significant to pursue ecological progress. The 18th National Congress included ecological progress in its overall plan for building Chinese socialism, thus highlighting the strategic importance of ecological progress and making it possible to incorporate ecological efforts into those for economic, political, cultural, and social progress in all respects and throughout the whole process. This is an important practical and theoretical achievement of our party in our understanding of the law of building socialism. We must carry out the overall plan, pursue coordinated development in all areas of our modernization drive, and promote harmony between the relationships of production and the productive forces, between the superstructure and the economic base. We pay close attention to the main objective because the CPC has shouldered the historic mission of rejuvenating the Chinese nation ever since its birth. The very purpose of the party in leading the Chinese people in revolution, development, and reform is to make the people prosperous and the country strong and rejuvenate the Chinese nation. According to the three-step strategic plan for modernization, it is the goal of our party and state to build a prosperous, strong, democratic, culturally advanced, and harmonious modern socialist country during the primary stage of socialism. Footnote 20. The three-step strategic plan for modernization refers to China's development strategy for realizing initial modernization in 3 steps. The 13th CPC National Congress in 1987 proposed doubling the 1980 GNP by the end of the 1980s and ensuring that the people would have adequate food and clothing as the first step. Doubling the 1990 GNP by the end of the 20th century and ensuring the people a moderately prosperous life as the second step, and increasing the per capita GNP level to that of moderately developed countries, ensuring the people a relatively affluent life, and realizing modernization by and large by the middle of the 21st century as the third step. End of footnote 20. The historic mission of our party, the fundamental purpose of reform and opening up, and the goal of our country all converge in the main objective and are also derived from it. This is an objective for which we should never relax our efforts, nor should our future generations. During different historical periods, our party has always been able to put forth inspirational goals in line with the will of the people and the needs of our development, and lead the people in achieving those goals. In response to both domestic and international changes and new economic and social developments in China, and living up to the new fourth. We must have knowledge of the basic requirements, victories for Chinese. So new understanding by our party of the laws of Chinese socialism. The basic requirements set forth at the 18th National Congress. This is why we must give all of the people as the masters. Freeing and developing the productive forces is a fundamental task of Chinese socialism. This is why we must focus on economic development and pursue a people-oriented, all-round, coordinated, proper, and sustainable development. Reform and opening up is the only way leading to Chinese socialism. This is why we must always apply the spirit of reform and innovation to all aspects of governance and continuously promote the self-improvement and development of China's socialist system. Fairness and justice are inherent requirements of Chinese socialism. This is why we must, relying on the concerted efforts of all the Chinese people and based on economic and social development, double our efforts to develop institutions that are vital to ensuring fairness, social fairness, and justice, and establish in due course a system for guaranteeing social equity. This is the fundamental principle of China. If we truly meet all the basic requirements, people have ensured China's prosperity and the Chinese people peace and harmony. These have caused and the people's expectations. in the new circumstances.
That's all.